Hello students, this is lecture number 10 in molecular basis of inheritance. In the previous lecture we were seeing about semi-conservative mechanism of DNA replication. You may recall when DNA replicates, its both strands will be acting like a template or parental strand we have seen. After replication, each parent or during replication, each parental strand will produce a new strand of its own complementary copy. So this is one new strand, this is one parental strand. Later, after completing the replication, there will be two daughter molecules produced. Each daughter molecule will be having one parental strand in it and one newly synthesized strand in this. So, the daughter molecule will not get or will not inherit both the parental strands as it is. They will inherit only 50% of the parental strand. Another 50% is newly synthesized. This type of partially retaining the parental strand is called as a semi-conservative mechanism, we can say. In the previous class, I was telling you about this mechanism only. Semi-conservative mechanism of DNA replication. You may recall this point. For this, this idea was proposed by Crick, but experimental evidence for this process was given by two scientists, namely Michelson and Stahl. We are telling Michelson and Stahl, they have given the experimental evidence that DNA replicates by semi-conservative mechanism only. In which organism they did this experiment means in E. coli bacterium they did this experiment. So based on E. coli bacterium they cultured them in N15 medium for the first time. Then they changed the medium for N14 and studied about it. I already told you N15 is a heavy isotope, not radioisotope. It is a heavy isotope actually. It can be identified or it can be observed only by centrifugation technique. Cesium chloride density gradient centrifugation we are doing. Depending upon the position of the DNA band, we can say whether it is heavy DNA or light DNA or hybrid DNA like that. Heavy DNA will settle completely at the bottom of the test tube. It is due to what is that N15 medium. Hybrid DNA will be settling in the middle of the test tube like this. There it is also cesium chloride density gradient technique. Light DNA will be settling above these bands, we can say. Depending upon the position of the band, we can say whether they have followed semi-conservative mechanism or not. It has been experimentally proven. Apart from Michelson and Stahl, not only in E. coli, some other organisms, even in higher plants and animals also, the same type of semi-conservative mechanism happens. That was given by one more scientist called Taylor, we can say. Taylor, did not use heavy isotope or nitrogen isotope. He used radioactive thymidine, he used actually. Radioactive thymidine, iridium radiated thymidine, it is called. Such a radioactive thymidine was used for understanding the inheritance of parental strands. So only one parental strand is inherited by each daughter molecule. Another strand is newly synthesized. That idea was given by Crick and it is known as a semi-conservative mechanism of DNA replication. Now in today's class, let us see about the steps involved in DNA replication. I am going to tell you about various steps involved in DNA replication. We are going to see. Another important 5-mark question. Already in this lesson we have seen some 5-mark questions actually. DNA duplex model can be asked in a 5 marks actually. Then search for DNA, 3 experiments are there. You may remember Griffith experiment. You may remember McAvery experiment, Oswald Avery's experiment. Then we have seen about this one Hershey and Chase experiment. Yes, in the previous class I told you about Michelson and Stahl experiment also. Now we are going to see about steps of DNA replication. We are going to see here steps in DNA replication. There are various steps, important ideas involved in DNA replication. Steps of DNA replication we are going to see here in detail actually. Listen to me. This DNA replication will be usually occurring in the S phase of the cell division. Remember, during synthetic phase of the cell cycle, we come across what is that DNA replication actually, that is called S phase we can say. And in this S phase only DNA content will be doubled in a cell or in the nucleus we can say. So that is S phase. It is the important point, synthetic phase. G1, S and G2 phase, like that you might have heard. S phase is involved in DNA replication. During replication, there will be some enzymes required for this process. A group of enzymes, large number of enzymes are involved for the purpose of this DNA replication. It is enzyme catalyzed enzymatic reactions we can say. So several biochemical catalysts are required for the purpose of DNA replication. Thirdly, what is another requirement for DNA replication means it requires several raw materials like nucleotides are required for this process. So many nucleotides like what is that adenosine monophosphate, guanosine monophosphate, cytidine, like that several nucleotides, because without nucleotides you cannot construct a new chain. So many nucleotides are required for this process. More amount of energy is expended in this process also. For the addition of nucleotides and all, we have to spend lot of energy. Where from this energies are obtained, or where from this energy is obtained means the energy, source of energy will also be the nucleotides only. Remember this important point. The nucleotides not only act as raw material, they will even provide energy also. How nucleotides can provide energy? Please listen. You might have heard deoxy, otherwise ATP molecule we are telling. Adenosine triphosphate it is called. This triphosphate will not have only one phosphate, it will have 3 phosphates molecule in it. Already we know about adenosine monophosphate, that is a nucleotide. If that nucleotide carries 2 more phosphate groups, that will be called as an energy source, energy currency of a cell we can say. Why we call it as energy currency means, those 2 extra phosphate groups are there, when we break them, they release energy. Those extra phosphate groups are capable of releasing energy. That energy will be used for addition, polymerization of nucleotides by using the enzymes we can say. So it is an enzymatic reaction. It requires energy. That energy is provided by triphosphate molecules. These triphosphate molecules are otherwise called deoxy. Remember this word, very important. Deoxynucleoside triphosphate it can be called. I am using the word nucleoside. not a nucleotide. It is called deoxynucleoside triphosphates, they are called. That means already deoxyribose sugar and adenine base are called adenosine. With that 3 phosphates are there, means deoxynucleoside triphosphate. How many types of deoxyribose nucleosides are there? DATP, DGTP, DCTP, like the D, even thymidine or TTP, we can say, they are all called as, what is that? Energy resources. They all are able to provide energy for the DNA replication purpose. Okay. In addition to this, we must know some more points related to DNA replication. Whenever a DNA, since the DNA molecule is a long polynucleotide chain, it will not start at any point in which the replication cannot be initiated at any point. There are certain specific areas, from there only replication will start in a eukaryotic cell. So in eukaryotic cells, replication will be initiated from specific point actually. Such points are called as Ori site, we are telling. It is called Ori site. What is an Ori site? Origin of replication site, it can be called. So replication will start from a particular point of this long polynucleotide chain. That particular point will be called as Ori site. You cannot initiate the chain from any end you want like that. It will be done from a particular point only. That is called Ori site for the initiation of this polynucleotide chain. And next to this, another point you have to remember is, during replication, the 2 strands of DNA molecule or parental strand is there, they will open up and they will separate, segregate from each other from that particular Ori site. The 2 parental chains will separate from each other at a particular point. That point is called Ori site. Because of this separation, imagine here and all hydrogen bonds are there, here sugar and phosphate molecules are there, but here they will separate. This kind of separated DNA molecule will appear like an inverted Y shape, it will appear. It is something like an inverted Y shape actually. That structure of DNA, that is called as replication fork, we are telling. It is called a replication fork. Remember, there is a difference between Ori site and replication fork. Ori site is the initiation point, whereas replication fork is the Y-shaped DNA molecule which is ready to undergo replication. The Y-shaped DNA molecule which is ready to undergo replication, that is called replication fork. You can understand, since due to anti-parallelity, the 2 separated chains will have different polarity actually. If one of the chain is in 3', 5' direction, from down I am going here, another opposite chain will be in 5', 3' direction, we can say. So when replication fork is there, the 2 chains of the DNA molecule, parental DNA molecule, will separate at a particular point. That point is called Ori site, and the Y-shaped DNA molecule, it is called replication fork. Now remember, they will exhibit anti-polarity, otherwise anti-parallelity actually. Now both the chains are having exposed nucleotides in them. Remember, this chain, this parental chain will have its own nucleotide exposed. You know, nucleotide means sugar, nitrogenous base and phosphoric acid. Those nitrogenous bases are facing or projecting inwardly, we have seen. Those nitrogen bases will be exposed now from the parental strand like this. For example, If adenine is exposed here means thymine is exposed from the opposite strand. Because of complementarity, and Chargaff proposed that idea also, you may be remembering. Second base, if it is guanine means here it will be cytosine. If third base is what is that, some cytosine means here there will be guanine present here, adenine, thymine, adenine, like that they get exposed. The two chains of the parental molecule exposing their nucleotides for the sake of replication is known as templates, they can be called. The exposed chains are called templates, we can say. This is one template, this is one template. This template will be considered as 3', 5' template, whereas this template is considered as 5', 3' template, we can say. These are all some introductory points. Now I am going to tell you about the real mechanism, various steps involved here, and what are the enzymes required for this process, everything we are going to study. This introduction you need not write for a 5-mark question. This is something for understanding purpose I told you. What are the things I told you? Replication occurs in the S phase. Many enzymes are involved in this process. It is a enzymatic reaction. So nucleotides are required as raw materials. High amount of energy is required for completing this process. That energy is provided by triphosphates called deoxynucleoside triphosphate, they can be called. It is not nucleotide, it is nucleoside triphosphate. Already nucleoside means deoxyribose and adenine. With that 3 phosphates are there, it is called deoxyribonucleoside triphosphate. Then the place from which DNA starts its replication, or the point from which replication starts, is called ORI site. It is called initiation place, it can be called. There is because of ORI site, the 2 DNA strands will be separating. That separated condition will exhibit an inverted Y-shaped structure. That Y-shaped structure is called replication fork, we are telling. In the replication fork, the 2 polynucleotide chains are exposed with antiparallelity. Due to that, we are getting templates of the DNA. Now the parental strand is called template. Now what we have to add? We have to add new nucleotides, complementary nucleotides we have to add, and we have to synthesize the new DNA molecule. Otherwise, daughter molecules or new strands we have to synthesize. That is the step we are going to discuss here. This is the raw material and requirement for DNA replication. Just make note of these points. We will continue. 2 seconds. Okay, students, let me continue about various steps involved in replication. It is a 5-mark question. For this 5-mark question, if you write the following points, that is enough. So we will start from the first step here. In the first step involved in DNA replication is the 2 strands will separate. The 2 parental strands will separate at ORI site, we can see. they will separate at OD site. That becomes the first point we can see. How they get separated, what is the speciality of this separation, how they get separated. This process is called unwinding, we can see, unwinding. Helping that unwinding, or for that process of unwinding, we require an enzyme for this process. The name of that enzyme will be known as helicase enzyme, it can be called. So in the presence of helicase enzyme, the two strands will separate from each other. Helicase is otherwise known as unwindase also. It can be also called as unwindase enzyme, so that the two chains will be separating from each other. 1 minute. Okay. Listen. In addition to this, when the two strands are separating, their hydrogen bonds will be broken here. The two hydrogen bond present between adenine and thymine will be broken. Between guanine and cytosine, 3 hydrogen bonds are there, means it will be broken. When the hydrogen bonds are broken, the two separated chains should not rejoin again. They should not join again, they should be prevented from rejoining. Because we have seen already, DNA is the stable molecule. That is what happening in the Griffith experiment also. When he heat killed that S type, how it is able to pass its DNA molecule to the R type? How a dead bacteria could pass the DNA to the living bacteria in the medium? Means that is because of their stability nature. Even when heat is destroying the DNA molecule, once again they can join if you give the some favorable limiter. That should not happen during replication. The separated chains should not join with each other. For preventing that rejoining, one special protein will be occupying this ORI site actually. This area is called ORI site. Origin of replication it can be called. And here one protein is occupying, that is known as single strand binding protein it can be called. It is known as single strand binding protein it can be called. SSB we are telling. What is the purpose of SSB? Preventing the rejoining of templates, preventing the rejoining of the separated parental molecules, parental strands. Next to this, because of this unwinding here, when the strands are separating, naturally in other parts of the DNA there will be some stress expressed. Some stress will be happening in other parts of the DNA due to that unwinding. Imagine you are separating two coiled strands. When we separate the two coiled strands, other areas will experience some stress here. They will undergo further coiling actually. It is called super twisting, we are telling. In order to avoid that tension, in order to avoid that super coiling in the other places, we need one more enzyme. Another enzyme is playing an important role here. That enzyme is called as topoisomerase. It can be called. It is called topoisomerase enzyme, or otherwise it can be called as gyrase enzyme. It can be called. So gyrase is the enzyme which will avoid super twisting. It will avoid super coiling of DNA in other parts other than replication. In replication fork, there will be uncoiling. But in other areas, it should not create tension. To avoid that tension, there will be gyrase enzyme or topoisomerase enzyme will be playing an important role. I told you the role of helicase, SSB single stranded protein, and gyrase or topoisomerase. Helicase will be unwinding the two strands from the ori site. It is capable of identifying the ori site, remember. SSB will be preventing the rejoining of two strands, whereas gyrase will be preventing the tension created in other places due to uncoiling. When there is uncoiling, other places will experience some tension. To avoid that, there is an enzyme called isomerase, a topoisomerase or gyrase enzyme required for this process. Now listen carefully. Very important point we are going to study here. That is, a small RNA primer will be added at 3' end of the template strand as the fourth step. The fourth step involved here is a small segment of RNA primer which is having some 15 to 20 nucleotide length only. Such a primer will be added at 3' end of template. Remember, very important point this is. 3' end of the template will receive one RNA primer. Imagine now, for this strand, this is 3' end. Here one RNA primer will be added. What is that RNA primer? It is a small RNA fragment having 15 to 20 ribonucleotides in it. Ribonucleotides. For this strand, this is the 3' end, is not this the 3' end? From here only we have to start. Here that RNA primer will be added actually. So from the 3' end, RNA primer will be added on both sides. Remember, both are not added here parallelly. One will be added at nearer to the replication fork or nearer to the ori site. Another one will be from opposite. So this area, this is known as RNA primer, we can say. This part is called RNA primer. So a primer is added at this stage. What is the purpose of primer? It will lead the DNA synthesis, it will proceed further for the addition of new nucleotides. So now everything is ready for the synthesis of a daughter strand. What should happen? Deoxyribonucleotides, complementary deoxyribonucleotides should be brought and added opposite to the prior template here. Both the strands are acting like template. Remember, this is one template having 5', 3' direction. This is another template having 3', 5' direction, we can say. Now new nucleotides are brought, complementary nucleotides, and they will be added to the template. Who will bring that new nucleotides? Next point here is, there is an enzyme called DNA dependent DNA polymerase, it can be called. DNA polymerase enzyme is required for this process. That DNA polymerase enzyme is called DNA dependent DNA polymerase. What it will do? It will bring complementary nucleotides and add at the base of the primer. So primer will be, RNA primer will be moving towards the fork here, or it will be just moving in this direction. Now new nucleotides will be brought here and added. Please listen carefully. If thymine is here, adenine will be added here. If adenine is here, guanine will be added. It will be proceeding, primer will be proceeding towards this one. Then next to opposite to cytosine, opposite to adenine, thymine will be added. Opposite to cytosine, guanine will be added. here cytosine, here thymine, like that new nucleotides are added here. They will create a phosphodiester bond among themselves. They will become a new chain actually. Now remember, primer will be moving further and further here. So primer is leading this point and new nucleotides are added according to the complementarity. Here you have to understand the intelligence of Watson and Crick. They told that complementary bases are present in DNA. They told there are two polynucleotide chains. You can understand now how complementarity helps for getting identical daughter molecules. If thymine is here, adenine only can combine there. If cytosine is there, guanine only can combine. Now we are getting one polynucleotide chain, newly synthesized chain. Remember, one interesting point is this chain will be in 5 prime, 3 prime direction. Very important point here is this RNA primer and DNA polymerase. Both of them can work in 5 prime, 3 prime direction only. They will work only in 5 prime, 3 prime direction. They will start from 5 prime and go up to this like this only. They cannot proceed from 3 prime, 5 prime. Please remember, DNA polymerase can work in 5 prime, 3 prime direction only. That means template will be starting from 3 prime end only. That is why here I put one primer, here I am putting one primer. This primer will be proceeding in its own 5 prime, 3 prime, its own, not a template. Template is in 3 prime, 5 prime. Primer will be going to from 5 prime, 3 prime. So that anti-parallelity can be achieved. They will become anti-parallel. It will be moving towards the fork. Okay. Let us come to another strand, opposite strand. Here, primer will be moving away from the ORI site. It will be coming from ORI site towards the 5 prime end here. Why? Because it can work in 5 prime, 3 prime direction only. Its direction, its movement will be from 5 prime, 3 prime only. So it will start from here because it is the 3 prime of template. From template's 3 prime, primer will start. Now primer will be moving here in this direction. It will be proceeding further and further. The primer will reach this end. Meanwhile, what is happening? Same DNA polymerase will bring complementary nucleotides and add to this template. They will bring complementary nucleotides. If thymine is here, adenine will be added. Cytosine means guanine. Again cytosine, again adenine, thymine, like that they will add new bases. But students, one important point is construction of a polynucleotide chain towards replication fork is easy because there is a support available here and it will be going on happening further and further without any disturbance. But construction of polynucleotide chain away from the replication fork or away from the ORI site will be a difficult process. Because here chain is moving away from the fork, there is no balance for this chain. That template will not have much balance because the direction should be like this. These enzymes cannot work in both directions. They will work only in 5 prime, 3 prime direction. So what is happening means this chain here will be formed with fragmented nature only. It will not be a continuous chain. It will be produced in fragments like this. So one of the chains will be continuous. Another chain will be discontinuous in the DNA replication. This opposite chain will be discontinuous. Why it should be discontinuous? Because it is moving away from the ORI site. So please remember, the template, I am talking about template now. The template 3 prime 5 prime will give you continuous chain, whereas the template 5 prime 3 prime will give you discontinuous chain. So what is the point we have to understand? One chain, one daughter chain or one new strand is continuous. It is continuous in nature. It will be produced on 3 prime 5 prime template, and it is known as that chain is known as leading strand. It can be called. That is called as leading strand. Remember, one chain will be continuous. It will be proceeding towards the fork, and it will be formed on the 3 prime 5 prime template, and it is called a leading strand. Another strand, another new strand, another new strand will be discontinuous in nature. It is discontinuous, I can say. This discontinuous chain will be known as lagging strand, we can say. That is called as lagging strand. Remember, the fragments present in the lagging strand will be known as Okazaki fragments, we are telling. Those fragments are called as Okazaki fragments, they are called. So which strand will produce Okazaki fragments? Discontinuous strand. Which is discontinuous, which is moving away from the ORI site. That will be producing Okazaki fragments. Finally, even these Okazaki fragments will be joined by means of one enzyme. The name of that enzyme is known as ligase enzyme. Ligase will join that Okazaki fragments. We will get another continuous or another strand here. So both the strands are becoming complete here. Now you are getting 4 DNA strands or 4 polynucleotide strands. Out of the 4 polynucleotide strands, one template will join with its own complementary new strand. They will become one daughter molecule. Here, one new strand will be here, and here one template. They will become another daughter DNA molecule. So, each daughter DNA molecule will have 2 strands, but out of them, one is newly synthesized, another one is old one, parental one. So it is called semi-conservative mechanism. I told you about a ligase enzyme playing a very important role. This ligase will join, link, it will ligate the Okazaki fragments. We will get some continuity even in the Okazaki fragments. With this, we are completing the process of replication. Very important point here is DNA polymerase enzyme plays an important role. This DNA polymerase enzyme is more efficient. How means? It should be faster also, and at the same time it must maintain accuracy also. What is fast and accuracy means? It must be able to complete the replication process very quickly. I told you about E. coli. Within 18 minutes, the complete E. coli DNA will be doubled. That means the rate of addition of new nucleotides will be, when they add new nucleotides, it will be just 2000 nucleotides or 2000 base pairs per second it will add. Because I told you E. coli will have 4.6 into 10 to the power 6 number of base pairs. such a large number of base 10 to the power 6 number. When you add such a large number of base pairs, you must be very fast. That is 2000 base pairs per second will be added by this DNA polymerase. At the same time, it must maintain accuracy also. When adenine, wherever adenine is there, template only must be added there. It should not bring another guanine and add. Of course, it cannot be possible. But if it is bringing a wrong nucleotide, and sometimes if only two bonds are happening means the molecule will become unstable. For correcting that process, any correction, any editing, any proofreading has to be done during this process means that is done by another enzyme. That is called DNA polymerase 2 enzyme we are telling. This is DNA polymerase 3. It is called DNA polymerase 2 is needed for editing purpose. Anyhow, finally after completing the process, RNA primer will be removed from this site. So RNA primer will be removed and the replication fork will be going on extending further and further and new nucleotides are added. Finally we will be getting two daughter molecules. So dear students, these are the steps involved in DNA replication. Let me repeat this process. Very important 5-mark question. All these steps you have to write during this 5 marks. Okay, for this 5 marks. Listen please. Listen. So what we have to know? DNA replication occurs at the S phase. Many enzymes are required for this process. Several nucleotides are required for this purpose. It is using more energy also. That energy is expended in the form of triphosphates, dinucleoside triphosphates. In prokaryotes, replication takes place in the cytoplasm itself because there is no well-defined nucleus. In eukaryotes, it is occurring in the nucleus. Okay. Now, what are the steps involved in this replication? First point is the two parental strands will separate at a point that is called Ori site. That is done by an enzyme called helicase or unwindase enzyme. The two separated chains should not rejoin with each other. To prevent that rejoining, we need SSB protein. Otherwise, single-stranded protein it can be called. Single-stranded binding protein it can be called. That is called prevention. Prevention of rejoining will be done by this protein. Okay. Then, because of the separation or unwinding, there will be tension created in other parts of the DNA molecule. To avoid the tension, we use one enzyme called topoisomerase or otherwise gyrase enzyme. Now the two separated strands are called templates. Here we get one template, here we get one template. Okay, two templates we are getting. Okay. Now remember one point. RNA primer will be a short ribonucleotide sequence that is required for initiating purpose. It will bind at the 3' end of the template. Very important point, don't forget. It will bind at the 3' end of the template. So, one primer molecule will bind away from the replication Ori site. Another one will be binding at the Ori site. So, there will be opposite direction. Now, that is will create anti-parallelity. Next point is very important enzyme called DNA dependent DNA polymerase enzyme is required for this process. What is the purpose of DNA polymerase enzyme means? It will bring new complementary nucleotides and add them below the primer. So below the primer, they will be keep on adding new nucleotides. That means it will also work in 5', 3' direction only. Both of them are able to work in 5 prime 3 prime direction only. So one chain will be moving or constructed towards the ORI site. Another chain will be constructed away from the ORI site. The chain which is now, one strand is continuous. It is from 3 prime 5 prime, it is continuous strand, we can say. Another strand is discontinuous, remember. Another strand is discontinuous. This discontinuous strand, it is otherwise called a lagging strand. Continuous strand is otherwise called a leading strand, we can say. Finally, even the lagging strands will be connected by one enzyme called ligase. What are the fragments of that lagging strand? They are called Okazaki fragments. Okazaki fragments will be connected by ligase enzyme. They will also become a complete daughter molecule. Finally, what happens? There are 4 strands present here. 2 of them are newly constructed, 2 of them are old one. At the end of replication, one of the parental strands will take its complementary daughter molecule. It will become a new DNA. So, in each daughter DNA, one old strand, one new strand will be present. This is called semi-conservation. And here there will be discontinuous strand and discontinuous strand. Continuous strand is formed always on 3 prime 5 prime template, so that it will move towards the fork. Another strand will be formed away from the fork or away from the ORI site, that is called discontinuous strand. Discontinuous strand is known as lagging strand. Okazaki fragments, ligase, every point we have to remember. This diagram has to be drawn for explaining the replication process, and you must know about all these steps. Very important 5-mark question. So remember all the points you have to write. Helicase, single-stranded binding protein, gyrase, RNA primer, DNA polymerase, ligase. These are the enzymes involved in this process. They must be fast and accurate without any mistakes. They must be able to do. Okay. Energy required for this process is provided by DATP, DGTP, like that. When they come, they will come as ATP. They will leave one phosphate only here. They will become nucleotide. Remaining 2 phosphates will be used for energy source. Similarly, here TP will be brought, thymidine triphosphate. Last 2 phosphate bonds will be removed and energy will be saved. Only 1 phosphate will be retained with this. So they become normal nucleotides, monophosphates. Triphosphates are converted into monophosphates. Energy released during that process will be used for constructing the chain. Okay, let me stop with this. You must know ORI site, replication fork, everything. Okay, let us see further. Okay, in the next class. Thank you.